King Loghain will not...
Vieta! This land is held in trust for the sovereign Dwarven kings. I cannot allow entry at this time.
King Loghain demands the allegiance of the Desher, or lords, or whatever you call them in your assembly. I am his appointed messenger.
I don't care if you're the king's wiper. Orzammar will have none but its own until our throne is settled. Any dwarf who chooses to walk topside chooses to be excluded.
You better not let some pissant in after refusing Loghain's messenger.
Wait, look at me. You're the brand who dishonored the Proving. Trust you to be ignorant of our tragedy. Orzammar has no king. Endrin Idukan returned to the stone not 3 weeks ago, sick over the loss of his sons. The Assembly has gone through a dozen votes without agreeing on a successor. If it is not settled soon, we risk a civil war.
Wait, who are you to speak for Ferelden? You're no messenger to Loghain, that's for certain.
Thank the ancestors.
The Wardens killed King Cailan and nearly doomed Ferelden. They're sworn enemies of King Loghain.
Well, that is the Royal Seal. That means only the Assembly is authorized to address it. Grey Warden, you may pass.
You're letting in a traitor? And what was that you said, a filthy brand? In the name of King Loghain, I demand that you execute this stain on the honor of Ferelden. You'll hear of this. King Loghain will see you quartered.
You are free to enter Orzammar, Grey Warden, though I don't know what help you will find.
A trust follow, Warden.
Those statues of the local paragons right. Best of their ancestors.
Now that's a thing of beauty, daughter. If you work hard like Bronca, all worthwhile.
You know, Alistair, Antiva has a long tradition of royal bastards.
You don't say.
It is the Assembly who makes a king, and a king who nominates his successor. None of it is carried in the blood.
Or, as now, when someone tries using the Assembly to pull a coup. Who's to say what my father said in his final hours, when the usurper Harrowmont was the only one by his side?
I'll have you thrown in prison.
You've bitten off more than you can chew!
Handlers, separate these Deshers in the Diamond Quarter. I will not have Balin incite a riot.
Not speak that way about the man who should be king! I won't have fighting in the Commons, especially in front of outsiders. I find that sodding fool, I'll have him in the Legion. Vieta, I have enough crime without some castless carrying weapons in the city. Your actions risk pain of death. Name yourself. Warden. You? When I heard they accepted a brand, I thought it was a joke. Surfacers and their cloud-addled heads. Fine, oh illustrious Grey Warden. What do you want? Surface problems. Well, we have no king to hear you. You can join the shouting at the Assembly in the Diamond Quarter if you want. Bunch of Desher lords bickering over sand. Balin, Harrowmont. Is one so different? No paragons here. Yes, you should.
For a tiny people, they certainly build high ceilings.
Ancestors' I'm sorry. Did you have an offering for the ancestors? I can move aside. I don't have much to bring them. My name is Filda, widow of Turok of the Smith caste. I pray here every day for my son, Ruck. I only wish I knew whether I should be asking for his safe return or for the ancestors to accept his soul. It was 5 years ago. He was only a youngster. He joined a Deep Roads excursion, the only smith to go with the warriors to repair their arms. He was so proud, but he got separated somehow. When they came home, he wasn't with them. The captains don't want to lose anyone searching for stray men. Too many were taken by dark spawn that way. How? There is no way except to brave the deep roads yourself. A warden. So you could do it. Only wardens face the deep roads without a company backing them. Oh, thank you. The ancestors finally heed my prayers.
Take heart, good Widow Filda. We'll do our best.
Don't get your hopes up. We could search the deep roads for decades with no sight of the boy.
Please, find me as soon as you return.
You're the best wrangler I've ever seen.
I can't believe it. I heard a dwarf and Grey Warden came to Orzammar and I couldn't help but hope. Look at you. My little brother, the returning hero. And with quite the unusual entourage. You look so good and so fancy. I've been worrying that we're living in luxury while you're suffering on the road. Can you imagine? As of last month, I'm a royal concubine to House Iduken. They've moved Mother and me into the palace. You could fit our whole neighborhood just in the bathing room. I wish you could meet little Endrin, but they don't let me bring him outside the royal nursery. Mother is... Mother. We have everything we could want now, but... Well, you know what they say. You can't leave Dusttown if you always take it with you. And I haven't seen Lesky since you left. Balin doesn't like me spending time off the estate. Can you believe it? My son is an Iduken. The future king of Orzammar spends his nights in my bed. Barat was a toad, but I have to thank him for teaching me to read, dance, massage, and whatever else Balin sees in me. That's a horrible, vicious lie. Balin told me all about it. Lord Harrowmont always favored Balin's older brother, the one who murdered Trian. Balin thinks Harrowmont set the whole thing up to frame him. Then he had the gall to whisper these things to the dying king. When the king sent him away, Balin cried for weeks. Tell me you don't believe these horrible rumors. How could you say that? Have you been in the sun so long you forget who raised you and kept you from having to beg? My life finally means something, little brother. Don't take that from me. But this isn't why you're here, is it? What's wrong? All the news from the surface says terrible things are happening. Darkspawn attacks and a civil war among the humans. And I'm sure the Assembly would agree if they weren't busy arguing the secession. I hate this. Until there's a king, the Assembly would let the world collapse rather than bow to anyone's better judgment. But I can introduce you to Vartag Gavorn. He's Balin's chief lieutenant. He could help you if anyone could. He may be suspicious at first. Don't take it personally. It's been so hard to tell who's against us.
Rika, I'm at the Assembly. This is no place for a woman. What do you mean by this?
Vartag, this is my brother. He comes on behalf of the Grey Wardens with dreadful news.
Of course, I wasn't thinking. It would be hard not to notice the Grey Warden and his eclectic entourage. I hear you seek the aid of Orzammar's finest. Ah, ancient documents indeed. These were signed in the reign of Eithnar Bimo, Paragon and King. That was 16 generations ago. Now the difficulty is that the treaty only compels our king, and we are sadly lacking one of those right now. You must understand, Harrowmont hides behind his good reputation while sending spies and assassins. Balin can't know who to trust. It's been like a knife in the heart for Balin to see so many of his father's men stand with the usurper. That hurts worst of all. That Harrowmont would take advantage of the dying king's delirium to plant such poisonous suspicions against his own son. After that, you understand why Balin cannot trust the word of a stranger, however close to family that stranger might be. Wait, we must be cautious about whom to trust, but perhaps we could find a way. Harrowmont has engaged in a campaign of bribery and coercion to ensure that every house serves him. But if a neutral party, a stranger, were to approach certain key members, perhaps with irrefutable evidence of Harrowmont's deception.
Irrefutable evidence? Which I suppose you have?
I'm certain my Lord Prince would show his gratitude. Very well, but do not expect my prince to grant your rightful place in his household if you cannot reject Harrowmont's lies. I hope he won't take out any disappointment on your sister. I will be here if you change your mind.
Why didn't you tell Vartag you'd help him? Everything he said sounded reasonable. You stop Harrowmont from swindling those Deshers, and in return, you meet the prince. Finally, you ask. He's beautiful, with the biggest brown eyes, and so smart. He already knows who his father is. I'm sure his first word will be Prince. But you're giving me that look. I can take a hint. Finish your business and we can talk later. He isn't, but Gavorn is a very minor house and Balin has always favored them. Vartag's son was fostered with Iduken, which was a great honor. Balin promised that when little Indrin is 12, he'll spend a year there in exchange. Not a lot. She's supposed to be very practical. She doesn't care about larger issues, only how her own house is affected. Vartag speaks favorably of her dedication. His mother is getting on in years and gave up her assembly seat to him. Many of the nobles think he's a disappointment. He actually thinks the lower classes are people. I could almost like him if he wasn't such a vocal supporter for Harrowmont. Only if it's to tell Vartag he'll help him. Otherwise, I'll keep you here all day.
The assembly is in session. Enter quiet.
Your mind has gone to dust if you think we would pass such a writ. Half our houses would go broke without the surface trade.
The proposal is only effective until we have a king to ensure we are respected by the surfacers.
Leaving you conveniently positioned to take over all contracts. I'll see your head on a pike first.
Deshers, lords and ladies of the assembly. I've already doubled the guard to prevent violence. Must I summon more?
Steward Bandalore, Balin's sympathizers are tying our hands with trivialities. They may as well open us to the sky.
I suggest we put the matter to a vote.
And I suggest you have a taste of my family's mace.
Enough. The assembly is in recess until the members can regain control of their emotions. Stone-forsaken fools and dusters. I'm sorry. This is the assembly of the clans. Only Deshers and occasional guests of state are allowed in. Oh, Stone, you must be the Grey Warden. I completely forgot about the Gate God's message. Welcome back to Orzammar, Warden. A great deal has changed in recent days. Respect for your role is great, but you won't receive a proper hearing until we have a king on the throne. Troubling, but it will still seem distant compared to the empty throne. The assembly is blind to all else. Dulin Verender, Harrowmont's man, can be found at the Harrowmont estate. Vartag Gavorn, Prince Balin II, is often here in the assembly. I only wish there was more I could do for you.
I heard there was a Grey Warden here. I am Dulin Forrender, second to Lord Harrowmont, King Endrin's own choice as successor. Word is spreading that the surface may suffer a blight. It is shameful we are not in a better position to help. That may be, and that is a terrible risk for the surface. But even if the world would end tomorrow, Lord Harrowmont cannot ignore Balin today. He cannot afford to trust anyone of unproven loyalties. That's a generous offer. If you mean it, you might attend the proving today. The Deshers take it very seriously, and unfortunately, Balin found some way to blackmail or intimidate House Harrowmont's best fighters into stepping down. It would certainly make your loyalties loud and clear.
And this is to be your king. One who cannot keep his own men from running like frightened children.
Lord Harrowmont does not use threats or intimidation to motivate his men. He leads by example.
Ah, I see. So it's his example they follow as they cower from this Prince Balin.
How dare you slander Lord Harrowmont?
Why should we ally ourselves with someone too scared even to grant us an audience? I suppose not everyone can face death as undaunted as an Antivan, it's true.
Then you agree to fight in Harrowmont's name. Balin would never work with anyone who humiliated him in that way. Harrowmont would have no fear of meeting with you then. Excellent. The arena is located off the Commons. Talk to the Proving Master and tell him you're entering Lord Harrowmont's roster. The key fighters we lost were Guidon and Baisel. You can look for them in the fighters' preparation chambers behind the ring. And be sure it's before the fights begin. After the first bout, no one may change the roster. If you need to find me again, I will wait in the Tapster's Tavern off the Commons. There is no better place to hear gossip. Perhaps even word of your victory.
Let me guess.
You have come
This
at
is
a
what they
difficult-
reached.
2 years tomorrow. By all the holy sodding ancestors, how can you people just ignore that?
Bronca didn't go alone, Opera. She took the whole house, everybody but you. So just get over to Tapster's and drown yourself already. You know as well as I do that's how this always ends.
You think I'm afraid of some cub warrior who's barely off the teat? Ha!
You lift a weapon or attack a single citizen in Orzammar, and you're stripped of your caste and exiled. Even you can't have forgotten that. Get out of here before I call a guardsman.
Look, I already told the Proving Master I withdrew. Do you have to keep harassing me? Well, that sounded genuine. If you weren't looking for me, do me a favor and pretend I never said anything. I left the Proving on my own business, and I have no intention of discussing it. Look, it's just, when I was younger, I had a thing with this Idukan girl, Revelka. Lesser cousin, nowhere near the throne. Her family wanted her marrying up, so they matched her with a BMO. But we didn't exactly stop seeing each other. She's married to a prominent Desher's heir. We should have stopped a long time ago, but I love her. Do you know what that's like? Now Balin found out, and I can't even help my cousin for fear he'll tell her husband. They have letters. Love letters Revelka wrote me. If they were made public, she'd be disgraced. Her husband would cast her aside, and I would be lucky to be allowed to die in a duel. You'd do that? I don't know how to thank you. I know it's my own fault, but I'd have married her if I could. Balin's fighter Miaja has the letters. If you make sure she never shows them to anyone, I'll fight for Harrowmont again. But you need to find them quickly. Registrations close once the first bout starts. The proving's almost starting. I should leave if you... Where did you get those? No. I don't want to know. Just... thank you. I can't say what it means to know my Revelka is safe. I will be glad to fight for Harrimont in the provings. Thank you again, friend.
What are you doing here? They've kept all Castless off the ground since that Grey Warden fiasco. Oh. Well, if the ancestors smiled on you, who am I to say they were wrong? Name's Guidon, and I just tendered my resignation. Somehow I don't think the ancestors will favor me today. It's not so much what happened, as what's going to. I heard from a reliable source Lord Harrimont's already given up the throne. Balin called this whole proving to let his lordship save face when he concedes. Oh? And where did you hear this that's more reliable than a member of the Assembly? Well, that's not what I expected. I know Lord Harrimont. He's an upstanding man. He'd never lie to someone's face. Maybe you're right. I'm just a warrior. I've always tried to stay out of these noble politics. If I find out this whole thing was some flunky of Balin's lying to me for his own gain, I'll... Maybe I will at that.
Fine to see you here, Warden. A number of people have told me they hope to see you. It's a rare opportunity to fight against someone so exotically trained. In fact, a few were hoping you'd take part in some informal action. Assembly restricted, not illegal. All that ritual lets nobles rationalize it's not a blood sport. They don't like commoners using the arena for petty squabbles. Some of us prefer an honest spectacle. And sometimes someone needs a good beating, and all that talking gets in the way. I trust you'll keep the offer to yourself.
Oh, it's you. What are you doing back here? Did the Wardens realize their mistake and throw you back? Being a Warden isn't good enough. Now you have to worm your way into the highest ranks of society. Never mind. It's your right, I suppose. Let me just put you into the schedule here. Now, is there a particular name you wish listed? I'll just call you Grey Warden, then, and avoid us both some embarrassment. We actually have an opening in the first round. Are you ready to start? That's what I like to hear. I will warn you, though. This is your last chance to make preparations or meet the competition. Once the fights begin, there are no new additions to the roster. All withdrawals are treated as losses and a sign of the ancestors' disfavor. Do you want to start, or would you like some time? The fighters' quarters are behind the ring. Go down to the ring, then. I'll be right there. This is a glory proving, fought under the eyes of the paragons of Orzammar to honor the memory of King Endrin. First up is Sewern of the warrior caste. Many of you remember when Sewern made history as a lad of 12 by defeating his own father in this very ring. Today, he fights as a champion for Prince Balin. Opposing him, in Lord Heramont's name, is a member of the famed Grey Wardens.
In the name of House Aituken and our future King Balin.
First warrior to fall is vanquished. Fight! The winner is the Grey Warden! That was an exciting start, Warden. Soern is rarely trounced, and so thoroughly. Are you ready for your next opponent? Excellent! Let us go. This is a glory proving, fought under the eyes of the paragons of Orzammar to honor the memory of King Endrin. This round, Heramont's champion takes on the notorious duo, the warrior caste's twin terrors, now fighting for Prince Balin, Miaja and Lukja.
May the stone honor
When you fall.
First warrior to fall is vanquished. Fight! The winner is the Grey Warden! Well, that was an exciting bout. 2-on-1, and you took them both easily. Are you ready for your next opponent? Excellent! Let us go. This is a glory proving, fought under the eyes of the paragons of Orzammar to honor the memory of King Endrin. Heramont's champion has held the field so far, but how will he do against one of the legendary Silent Sisters? We'll find out as the Warden faces Lady Hanashan, who proves her worth to Paragon Ashtith the Grey by cutting out her own tongue. And to our Prince Balin by fighting in his name. First warrior to fall is vanquished. Fight!
This should be easy enough.
On your guard! Have at
The winner is the Grey Warden! Heramont will be pleased, Warden. The Silent Sister support was a great boost for Balin. Are you ready for your next opponent? Excellent! Let us go. This is a glory proving, fought under the eyes of the paragons of Orzammar to honor the memory of King Endrin. This round is paired combat. Just as Kiatchet fought as King Bloodlick II defending our empire, so have dwarves always fought alongside a second. Master of all weapons, prisoner of none, Wojek Ivo has never won the same way twice. What will he do today, lords and ladies? And will it win the day for Prince Balin? Grey Warden, choose your second, for you face Wojek Ivo and Valans. Last one standing will be declared victor. Fight!
Let's get started.
The winner is the Grey Warden! Wojek Ivo is one of the best this arena has seen, Warden. Heramont picked wisely. Are you ready for your next opponent? Excellent! Let us go! This is a glory proving, fought under the eyes of the paragons of Orzammar to honor the memory of King Endrin. Only 2 warriors remain. Fighting for his royal cousin Balin, the Jotun Iduken has led his team to triumph over every unit so far. Challenging him on behalf of Lord Heremont, the Grey Warden has risen from nothing to stand at the competition's summit. Each will lead a full unit of 4 soldiers to see once and for all whom the ancestors favor.
You fight well, but your judgment is questionable. The throne will never leave House Iduken.
You honor me.
Last one standing will be declared victor! Fight! Get that blood flowing! The winner is the Grey Warden! Congratulations! You defeated the man Prince Trian himself once called the Horns of my army. Do you deny this Grey Warden has earned the championship? Then it is my honor to declare this Grey Warden champion of the Proving, who has shown that the ancestors favor Lord Heremont. Through this day, we affirm the friendship between our city and your order.
You showed them! The ancestors are smiling on them.
You must know that murder is wrong, I assume.
I'm sorry, are you speaking to me?
That is why you wish to leave your crows. A crisis of conscience.
Yes, that is exactly it.
Joke if you wish, but I have the feeling that deep down you regret the life you have lived.
It's true. I regret it all.
Must you be such a child? Are you incapable of a single serious conversation?
I know. I'm terrible and it makes me sad. May I rest my head in your bosom? I wish to cry.
You can cry well away from my bosom, I'm certain.
Did I tell you I was an orphan? I never knew my mother.
Gad, I give up.
Atrasvala, champion. I hear your performance in the Proving was nothing short of amazing. I must thank you for bringing both Baisel and Guidon back into the fight. His lordship was touched to see his old friends stand for him. There can no longer be any doubt where your sympathies lie. If you're ready, Lord Heremont will see you now. His lordship is looking forward to meeting you.
I appreciate what you have done, Warden, and I apologize for putting one of your rank through such trials. I am Lord Pyrel Heremont, and I thank you for your efforts to help me preserve King Endrin's throne. No one is born with rights to the throne. The sitting king may recommend a successor, but the Assembly ultimately decides who will rule. Balin has lost nothing that ever belonged to him, and nothing that his own father thought he should have. You may not know the story, but Balin is actually the youngest of three. Endrin's eldest, Trian, was murdered in the Deep Roads not a year ago. His middle son was found standing over the body and was exiled. But I've always found it suspicious that Balin knew just where to look. Endrin loved his sons too much to voice such suspicions. But he knew Balin's only interest in ruling was to further his own power. I have never sought the throne. My role was to serve Endrin, first as his advisor, then as an elected Desher in the Assembly. A Harrowmont has never been king, and I always assumed Trian would rule after his father. But both Endrin and my colleagues have asked me to step up, and I will not back down when Orzammar needs me. For us, the Darkspawn are a constant menace, so a blight may not elicit the same urgency you are used to. Ultimately, the Assembly decides what troops to send. If they no longer fear civil war, they'll have no reason to hold back. If you want my support to count, I will have to be king, and right now, there is no sure way to get there. Have you heard of a woman named Jarvia and the criminal Carter she runs? You would know better than I the many ways the castless hide from authorities in Dust Town. I hoped you might still have old contacts who could help dig out Jarvia. Do this, and I promise if I take the throne, I will not stop until the Assembly sends your troops. Look for Jarvia in Dust Town. Do whatever it takes to see that justice is served.
His lordship appreciates your support.
What do you want? I know who you are. That castless whelp who ran off to become a warden. People are saying how you've thrown yourself on Harrowmont's wagon train. I figured you'd be the one, you know, who could help me find Branka. But I guess you're just like all the rest. Power-hungry Deep Lords. The only real concern they have is whose ass gets the throne. You don't have to play dumb, Warden. Their lackeys only come to me when they want something. Well, if you want the secrets of a paragon, do the work and find her. City's only living paragon, and she's been lost in the Deep Roads for 2 years. 2 years, and no one's raised a bleeding army to go look for her. What's it matter to you, huh? You trying to find out her secrets? That what Harrowmont sent you here for? I know he's been poking around, trying to find things out about her, what she was looking for. Won't tell me spit, though. He looking to take it for himself? A little lost technology of the ancients to throw Balin right out of the picture? Too little, too late. But it's a nice gesture, Warden. If you think your boot kissing will get you an in I don't have, you're welcome to try this. I know both Harrowmont and Balin have been asking about her. 2 years without a peep, and suddenly now they want to start looking. If you find out what they know, it might just put me a step closer to finding her. Or sit here and have a drink. It's all the bleeding same to me. Barkeep? Sod off, Duster.
Well, chew me up and swallow me whole. I never thought I'd see you back here. What happened, Duster? You miss getting spit on? And don't you sound all proper and fancy like. Is that to match the new steel? So what are you doing here? Not crawling back to die in the Deep Roads yet, right? Bad idea, my friend. You know she and Barat were lovers. She still blames us for his death. I've been staying out of sight since you left, but I'm sure she's heard you're back in town. What do you want her for? So, now you're doing Harrowmont's dirty work. Is that part of your duties as a warden? Yeah, he's everybody's favorite. Beloved of the ancestors, upholder of Orzammar's traditions, blah, blah, blah. Still doesn't exactly make him the champion of Dusttown, you know. Jarvia didn't waste a day. Apparently killing all possible competitors was her way of mourning. She made some kind of deal with Barat's family topside, claimed to be his wife, kept the whole lyrium trade flowing. But Endrin's death really opened new ground. All of a sudden, guardsmen were all busy in the Diamond Quarter. Jarvia moved right in. Bad idea, my friend. You know she and Barat were lovers. She still blames us for his death. I've been staying out of sight since you left, but I'm sure she's heard you're back in town. What do you want her for? Look, she'd kill me if she knew I know this. But after Balin took Rika up city, the Carta laid claim to your old home. They put a back entrance in. It just goes to some storage tunnels, but there's probably a way into Barat's old estate from there. Now I better get out of here before anyone sees us together, but, tell me how it turns out.
Well, look what we have here. Jarvia said you were looking for trouble. Congratulations. You found it.
Off we go. Time for more.
Don't kill me! Sorry, ancestors. What do they teach you on the surface? You fight like a bleeding archdemon. I was just doing what Lesky asked. Said Jarvia gave the word to make sure you never left. The base is below the city. You can get to it through the wall of the third house on this row. Put this token through the slot, and it'll open. Will you let me go now? Really? Oh, thank you. You're a good person. How do they say it? The ancestors have shown their favor. Bless you.
What's the password? Looks like we have a martyr, boys.
I sense it on you.
Time for a little bloodletting, I see. They would run away more.
Trap! Let's get started.
Maker! Oh no, you don't!
If it isn't our little runaway, come back to finish the job?
What was I supposed to do? You were gone and Jarvia's pulling the strings. Not all of us got your opportunities. You got too much sun on the brain. You forgot what it's like. When Barat died, Jarvia came out on top. She's got the swords, she's got the coin, and she's got the bed where I sleep. If you were here, you'd have done the same. You messed with his plan. He lost thousands of sovereigns because of us. What else could he do?
No. We'll see who holds the leash here. Lesky, kill him.
That wasn't so bad. Trap! Trap!
Hey, Warden!
I heard the news. Jarvia and her Carter are dead. I suppose it was unrealistic to expect them to surrender. Would that some of the noble caste had such loyalty. I have no desire to go back on my word. But when Balin heard the news about Jarvia, he raised the stakes. He is forcing a vote in the next 2 days. By law, that prevents the Assembly from hearing any other pleas. To help with your troops, I will require your assistance one last time. Do you know anything of the Paragon Branca? 2 years ago, she took her entire house into the Deep Roads on a mad quest to uncover ancient secrets. No one's heard from her since. Were she to return and endorse someone for the throne, the Assembly would be honor-bound to accept her wishes. Her entire house went with her. It would take a lot to kill so many. If not, bringing proof of her death, or a body to return to the stone, would still show that as an ancestor, it was my hand she guided to her remains. My men traced Branca's disappearance to an ancient crossroads known as Caradin's Cross. It is many miles below where we normally venture, but I can provide a map to lead you there. Just enter the Deep Roads through the mines. Thank you again, and may the ancestors guide your steps.